Fantastic. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our weekly SheEO Activator call, and for our guests, our monthly public call. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We know that it's summertime. People are getting really busy, so we really appreciate that you're taking time out of here in New York. It's afternoon to be with us. As Jesse requested in the chat, as you are joining, if you could add an A for Activator, V for Venture, and G for Guest in front of your name. As you rename yourself, that would be terrific. And I would love to introduce myself for a moment. My name is Nalini Saxena, and I am a SheEO Activator. I've been an Activator ever since Activators were possible in the United States, which I think is 4 years now. SheEO has been really, really an exciting space for me. I live my day with some version of SheEO involvement. This morning it was wrapping up my lemon from my hot lemon water and chia seeds in a Bigo wrap, but in some way it touches me in every day, and I'm really thrilled to be part of this community. It's a pool that constantly nourishes, and I'm happy to put my efforts into it as well. So today we're going to begin with a land acknowledgement. And for that, we have our activator, Cindy Gross. So Cindy, I'm going to pass it to you.
Thank you. So I am in the Seattle area, and I am on the unceded lands of the Duwamish and the Salish. I am also a citizen of the Delaware tribe of Indians that survived 3 Trails of Tears. Mostly we hear about the Cherokee Trails of Tears. We still benefit from institutions, including governments and most likely the universities many of us went to, that were built on land stolen from Indigenous folks, built with the labor of Black people who were ripped from their own Indigenous homelands. But I don't want it all to be negative. My nation is feeding elders during the COVID crisis, providing healthcare and insurance to many in our nation. Navajo Nation, while having one of the highest rates of COVID, largely due to the lack of water, thanks to government ignoring treaty rights, they are pulling through with great community, great spirit, and really helping the citizens of Navajo Nation move forward, and partnering with organizations like Dig Deep to provide more access to water. As it relates to women and SheEO, I want to make sure we realize that while we don't need to fetishize Native Americans, which come from a huge variety of different cultures and backgrounds, that many of those societies, including my own, were matrilineal and had a very different view of gender, two-spirit people, gender roles, things like that. And it's something we can learn from. We just need to make sure that we don't appropriate things like smudge sticks and things that are actually in short supply now. And we are still here. Native people are here. Future generations of Native people deserve to thrive. And we need to make sure that we honor that tradition without fetishizing it. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to offer this land acknowledgement.
Thank you so much, Cindy. I really appreciated that. Thank you. So now we are going to just give you an overview of the objective of this call, why we've gathered here, because this is a public call. For those of you who are our guests, we're so glad that you joined us. We want to give you an introduction and an overview of the SheEO community, and also give you an opportunity for you to join us. The format for today, really high level, is that Vicki, Ventures, Activators, will be speaking in that order, and then we will have some breakout groups for you to participate in an Ask Give activity. We'll return to the main room, and then we'll have some reflections and a closing. Again, as I mentioned, the public calls happen once a month, and they're an opportunity for activators and ventures to invite any guests, for people who want to learn about SheEO, get excited about being radically generous, and get a sneak peek into what it is to be part of this community. Our usual weekly activator calls have a slightly different format, and that varies week to week. It could be conversations around systems change, it could be mindset shifts, spotlights on different SheEO ventures. Those are our weekly activator calls. So that's what's happening today and what happens every week. With that, as we get warmed up and get started, I'd love to ask you to click in the link in the chat where Jesse has shared a Mentimeter link. And what we'd love for you to do is click on that link and add in your one-word check-in for how it is that you're feeling, what kind of energy you're bringing to the space today. and Jesse will share the results. So we have, I'm feeling curious, excited, positive, renewed, and a lot more of the same, engaged, uncertain, powerful, optimistic. I'm reading in the chat here as well. We have some more answers here. Grateful, feeling abundance, fun. Okay, fantastic. Thank you all for participating in that little exercise. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Vicki.
Jesse, can I get screen share, please?
Done.
Here we go. Yay. Hi, everybody. I'm Vicki Saunders. I'm the founder of SheEO, and it looks like we have a few guests here today, so very nice to meet you. This is a really incredible community that started about 5 years ago with this vision of really getting us to solve this challenge. This was the starting point for SheEO. This number, for those who, this is kind of becoming old news at the moment, but 5 years ago, people were like, really? Is that number really true? 2.2% of venture capital goes to about 51% of the population. And if you're a Black woman, the number is barely a statistic. And if you're Indigenous, it's not even tracked. And so this injustice is where we began. Really, how can we get capital into the hands of amazing women who have great solutions for the challenges we're facing on the planet? And since then, it's really evolved into all of us together, working on the world's to-do list and supporting each other's work with this spirit of radical generosity underneath it all. And so I'm going to go and start with the sort of machinations of like how this actually works, the how. But before I do, I want to just say, 5 years ago when I started talking about this in rooms full of women, I'd be like, everything is broken. And people would be like, really? Are things broken? What's broken? What's not working? And I think now, we went from this kind of question mark to now everybody nodding their head, I think, given the state of what's happening. And so we've been at this for about 5 years, looking at the structural inequities that exist in society and really rethinking how we're going to transform our systems. And it really all starts with us, each of us activating ourselves, coming together in community to support each other to create the kind of world we want to live in. So how it works is we create a bit of a different language here at SheEO. We have activators and ventures, and activators are women who are contributing capital as a gift into this community. And ventures, who you'll hear from in a moment. We have Kai with us today, who are entrepreneurs with great ideas to solve intractable challenges that we're facing. So the money is gifted, and 90% of it, a little bit more than 90%, goes into this perpetual fund that is loaned out to entrepreneurs at 0% interest, which is a pretty good interest rate, and is paid back over 5 years into the fund and loaned out again. So it's constantly in perpetual flow. And the rest of the capital goes towards our operations to support Activator programming. And this is one of the things that you're experiencing right now as part of that programming. Tons of stuff going on now that we're in COVID. Everybody's online, so it's just amazing how we can all access each other. So we're doing weekly calls. Part of the thing that happens is instead of having a little team of 5 people that decide who gets funded, everybody votes, which is an amazing experience. People have voting parties. You come together, you read through these applications, which are super simple applications, only 10 questions. And you look at all these amazing ideas that women have, and you vote for the ones that you really care about, that you think are going to happen. So it's kind of the opposite of Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, where we are like, that needs to exist, and I want to help that company grow. So that's the kind of vibe that we have here. And then we come together online or in person, depending on what's going to happen in the future, to see which ventures have been selected and to meet each other and connect with each other. We also have all kinds of online tools. So Ask Give apps and an online community where you can see everyone else who's in the community and find them and connect with them. And we have lots of content online that's part of this whole environment. From an entrepreneur perspective, if you happen to be looking at it through this lens, we provide capital to entrepreneurs on their own terms. There are no rules attached to it like there are with venture capital, which is go as grow as big as you can, as fast as you can, take over the market. We're really looking for new ways of doing business, and women that are scaling up businesses that have really flexible work policies, harassment-free environments, work zero waste, all of the things, deeply diverse, racially, intellectually, et cetera. So really, really different models is what we're looking for here. And they get access to all of us on their own terms. Our first goal is to get to $1 billion perpetual fund, which is 1 million women in this community, and this $1 billion perpetually rolling forward. But it's increasingly becoming clear that there's so much more to this community than just this funding element that we started with. Many of us are deepening our relationship with each other and looking at in our lives what institutions we're in right now, how we can influence them, and how can we take our leadership to transform what we're living in around us. This model has had unbelievable results. We have 5,000 activators so far, 68 ventures that are funded, 97% repayment, 95% repayment rate, and lots of countries around the world wanting this model. And so we have a big pipeline of countries coming our way. So lots of chance for you to step in as an activator and contribute how you want. It's all on your own terms. If you have lots of time, you can jump in, find companies you love, get involved with them. If you don't have any time and you just want to see this happen, you can contribute your capital, step back and read the newsletter every 2 weeks and go, wow, this is amazing. So all kinds of ways to be engaged. We have an amazing group, really nice diverse group of activators and ventures in the US. This is a list of some of the ventures that we've funded. You'll get access to this afterwards, and you can look through it and click through to see what kinds of ventures we're supporting. And we were in Oprah magazine. This is a thing that happened at the beginning of COVID, where we put this in here partly because the power of this community has never been more amplified than at the moment now of COVID, where when we hit crisis, everybody came together to support ventures and to help them thrive. And none of our ventures have failed. They continue to work and they're sort of at various stages of growth. Some are really thriving. Some are struggling a little bit, but they're getting what they need from this community. And we're really, really excited for the support that activators have been providing to ventures, and that ventures are supporting each other. That's it for me. I'll turn it back over to Melanie.
Hi. Thank you, Vicki, for that detailed overview, and we look forward to reviewing those details later, and also getting involved with some of those activators and ventures in particular. So now we're actually going to get a chance to hear from 2 ventures. First up is Kai. Kai, I'll turn it to you, and if you could unmute yourself, thank you.
Sure, no problem. Good morning. It's morning in California. So my name is Kai Frazier. I'm the founder and CEO of KaiXR. We are a kid-friendly VR platform where kids can explore, dream, and create. As I mentioned, I'm in Oakland, California by way of Washington, D.C. Back when I was on the East Coast, I was a classroom teacher and really frustrated. So I created my ed tech platform so kids could experience inclusive VR field trips and improve their tech skills by making their very own VR adventures. Since becoming part of the SheEO community, my venture has gotten more support than we have ever, and we've been in business for about 2 years now. So it's a really great injection of support that we didn't even think was possible. I really enjoy my bi-weekly coaching I get from Lauren. She helps me lead my team through difficult decisions, and it's nice to have a place to talk about things like that. As far as funding, Vicki shared that dismal stat that Black women get 0.0006% of VC funding. So that SheEO Perpetual Fund was monumental to our growth and our progress. We are building a extremely difficult engineering feat by making a web-based accessible VR platform. That's about 1% of VR companies are web-based, and we're doing that so you don't need an app or expensive software or even expensive equipment to get started. We wanted to make sure we were really accessible. But with that comes the challenge that there's a tiny yet expensive pool of developers that we can pull from to build that tech build. So we've had 2 false tech starts due to not having the money to pay for this expensive tech build. So SheEO has allowed us to have that funding so we could make progress in our tech build. So since we've gotten the SheEO funds, our platform is now actually ahead of schedule. We've had this delays and delays and delays, and for the first time, we are seeing our platform and what it can do. So we just launched our VR field trips last week. Our VR makerspaces will launch towards the end of August, and we're on track to have a full platform rollout on September 1st. We were able to secure a really great developer team based in Spain. We worked with Canadian Activator, Dora Tunstall, and she's given us her design students, and they were able to help us do a whole new rebrand and refresh, and we just got the wireframes for our website yesterday, and now that's all coming together, and we've never seen that happen in that type of way. So I can't stress enough how much of we're probably a year ahead of schedule because of the SheEO community and all the support we've gotten. So I would love for you guys to check out what we're working on. Our platform is 3 tiers, so the first tier just got launched last week. So my team member Tiffany's in the chat with me, so I'm going to have her just drop the platforms you can check in and view our web-based VR field trips. They work on your desktop, tablets. You can look at it in a desktop right now. If you have a phone, you can view it. And if you have a headset, a VR headset, you can go into it and view it in a VR space too. So I'm going to stop talking and turn it back over to you all, Vicki and Jesse.
Hi, Kai. Thank you. What amazing progress. And for guests who are joining us today, I just want to say that when Kai presented last time with an update, there was so much activity, so much buzz that happened right afterwards, and everyone was delighted to go to her website and also become her customer. So thank you, Kai. We're now going to hear from Vanessa. Vanessa, if you could unmute yourself.
Good morning, also from the West Coast, and sort of hard to follow Kai, but I love that woman. So Kai and I were both part of the US Ventures for 2020, and we were lucky enough to meet one another, work with one another, and get to go to a retreat where we all did a very, very deep dive on ourselves and on our businesses to really launch ourselves for this year and launch the activity that the funding that SheEO was able to give us. It was amazing. So congrats, Kai. We haven't talked for a little bit, but glad to hear of your progress. So Welcome Home Health is my company. I'm founder and CEO. We've been in business for 5 years. And Welcome Home Health identified a mismatch in the post-discharge care space. So when a patient leaves the hospital in the US, what really happens is there is so much complexity in trying to get back to your doctor or trying to get back to your nurse or trying to get your meds when you're still sick, that it's really, really difficult for patients to just simply focus on getting well. So Welcome Home Health came in the marketplace and said, we can help that, we can change that. And what we did was we issued tablets and or phones to patients when they discharge. The hospital system is right there saying, we're going to give you this service, we're going to help you out. And our health advocates engage daily over video conferencing, just like this, with the patients to help them keep on track, to help them understand their discharge orders, and to take away all the complexity of engaging with the healthcare systems, again, while they're still sick. So we focus on a single point of contact for that patient. So whatever they need, they contact us versus calling the doctor's office and waiting for a day to have somebody get back, or scheduling their meds so that in fact their meds are delivered to them at home. Or if they need housekeeping because they're down for a week, we'll schedule housekeeping for them. If they need transportation, we'll schedule that for them as well. Our patients tell us that within 3 days of being online, they are so, so grateful and so happy to have the next calls because they know that our folks are going to engage with them and just have a really simple conversation that helps move things forward. And they also say that they trust us in getting things done for them so they don't have to worry about the extra stuff. They can really just focus on getting well. So I've been part of the SheEO community for 2 years now. I'm both an activator and, as I said, a 2020 venture. so grateful for the entire community. So we had actually applied the year before and did not get selected. Oh no, we did get selected, and then funding didn't come in at the right moment. And because we didn't meet the funding metrics, we had to withdraw that first year, which for any of you who have done startup or been around startups knows that that was devastating for us. But I reached out to Vicki and said, well, can I still be part of the community? And can I use, some of the great women I had already met to grow? And she says, of course you can. So I was lucky enough to engage with Lisa Tepper and with many of the women out of New York City. They grew me so much in that year. They had no reason to help me out. They grew me so much in that first year, helping to write emails, helping to connect with investors, helping to connect with marketing people. It was really, really an amazing experience, which caused me to ultimately say, how could I not be an activator? So I activated this time last year. And then we reapplied when we had really great business. We reapplied and were selected as a venture for this year. The funding that we get as ventures is really amazing because it is very, very difficult, first of all, to get funding for early start companies. And second of all, to get interest rates that are even beginning to be reasonable just are really, really hard to find. So the fact that we have 0% loans is really a step up for us and helps tremendously. The other thing that I've gotten from the community in this past year is additional follow-on funding and also resources that are starting to take me into research and development around telemedicine data and helping us to further get the word out on why telemedicine matters and why it really is the wave of the future for what's going on in our healthcare communities now. And with that, questions, or I'll send it back to you guys. Thank you for the opportunity. And activators and guests, thank you. Please, please, please continue to support us. It matters so much that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you for that update, Vanessa. And just to share with some of you about the power of the community, I met Vanessa while sitting in the living room of an activator, having quite a bit of wine a couple of years ago over the holidays. And we got to connect and meet so many more activators and mentors that evening. It was really lovely. And then later I had Vanessa as a guest speaker at another SheEO event. So the community really likes to support one another. It's really nice. So now that we've heard from two ventures, we're now going to hear from two activators. So first up is Leah. Leah, I'll turn it to you. If you could unmute.
Unmute button. Hi, I am Leah Hayes. I'm the CEO of Her Story of Success, Women's Business Collective and Podcast out of Nashville, Tennessee. I wanted to become an activator the moment that I heard about Vicki and what she was doing. I was very inspired, but I did become an activator because she's helping women that are working on the world's to-do list. And I love that right off the bat, Vicki said, it's not mine. It's not named Vicki Saunders. It's named SheEO. And she said, you know what? I don't have it all figured out, but I believe that we're going to figure it out together. And I love that it's all about collaboration over competition. And it's about helping others succeed. And as we all help each other succeed, we all grow. I have a business that works with women. So of course I'm getting benefit being an activator. But what really helps is just the inspiration of meeting all of these women doing badass things around the world. I don't understand how, to Vicki's point, like, how do we not already have a million women doing this? I think I talk about SheEO about 5 times a week at least. So I think personally, I'm on a mission to help Vicki reach her goal because I believe that it's what's going to make the difference in the world for women. And, as we're on this journey of just, empowering women, I I think that it can happen. And I think that if it were at 5,000 now, we should have 5,000 in every city. So I just am excited to be a part of it. And then the other thing is, you learn from each other. Like, I'm learning things in my business as I listen to all these ventures, what they did with their money, how they had those conversations with the other ventures, and the mentorship that they get from Vicki and all of the other activators. So I just think that we're gonna all grow together. And realistically, $1,100, like, geez, we're going to spend that going to the spa sometimes. Or, like, I just think that women giving $1,100 to see such a massive impact in the lives and businesses of other women is minimal. So I'm excited to be an activator again with my company this year, and add a couple of people that have grown from my team. So it's been an honor of my life to be a SheEO activator, and I will continue to activate as long as there is a program. So.
Leah, thank you. What a great commercial for SheEO. Thank you for that. A very honest one too. Thank you. We're now going to hear from activator Zen.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Also a fellow Oaklander, founder of a company called Rally Works, based here in San Francisco Bay Area. I've heard of SheEO a couple years ago, actually, when I was part of Google X, and that was the first time I activated. And then, kind of fell off, and Jesse, God bless you, just kept following up. Hey, how are you? Come join our calls. What's happening? And so finally I said, okay, I'll join. And right away I got hooked right back in. So if I had to kind of summarize my experience, I really have just 3 words. And they all happen to start with C for some reason. I forced the third one, so don't judge me. First is community, right? I'm used to being in the room, being the only in the room. And it feels quite different in all of these conversations and these open conversations that we have about our businesses and what's happening. And now more than ever, I think the need to connect and find a supporting space that other folks see you. I think that's just more than ever the power of being seen, being heard, and having that community. The second piece is connection. I've started referring folks to SheEO, someone who knows something, and suddenly it's, hey, talk to this person, right? And so I think we shouldn't underestimate the power of that connection. And the last one, coins, right? The power of where our dollars go, who we choose to support, where we put that money, and why we choose to do that. We have choices every single day. And so I think being aware of what our choices can lead to and where we deliberately put our coins matters. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Zen. That's really succinct and really powerful. Thank you. So now we're going to enter into the breakout portion of our meeting. We're going to do an ask, give exercise. So this is your opportunity to connect with a smaller group and practice radical generosity, which we do through ask, give. So when you go into your breakout rooms, we'll do a quick round of introductions and ask boldly, what do you need help with? Feel free to ask. You never know who will be interested in practicing radical generosity and to help you out. And give, we ask you to give generously also. What support are you able to offer? What connections might you be able to offer? And for guests, this is an opportunity for you to get involved yourselves and see if maybe there's something that you want to poke around with, either with asks or gives. We ask that every group come back once we return with a 3-word summary of your conversation. And so we ask that one person be appointed to share that 3-word summary. And with that, Jesse, I'll turn it to you.
Great. So we have 5 breakout groups of 6 people each, a good mix of activators, ventures, and guests. And we're going to spend 20 minutes in the breakout. So we'll see you back here in 20 minutes. We're opening up the rooms now, and you should see a button at the top of your screen to join your breakout group. Hope you enjoy.
Were you a facilitator too? Are we in the same groups?
I'm not a facilitator. I think.
Oh, okay, cool. I was like, oh shoot, do we do together?
No, I had a connection problem, so Jessie just sent me her link, and that's how I got it.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. Does everyone know each other, or do we need to do quick introductions? Awesome. So I'm Leah, y'all just heard from me. I'm CEO of Her Story of Success. And so let's just all go around and say your name and who you're with. And I want to give a great shout out to a B from a linker. I'm so excited to be in your room. You're one of my heroes. So why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about a linker and your adventure with SheEO, and kind of a big deal. So.
Yes, and I'm speaking later, just before the closing of so I'm not going to make it too long. I'm the inventor of this thing, three-wheeled walking bike, changes lives of people, and without SheEO, I wouldn't be alive. Name is B. Over to the next.
Cindy, do you want to go?
Sure. Cindy Gross, Seattle area. I'm working on a business called Befriending Dragons, which is focused on bridging the gap between corporate, especially tech, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and anti-harassment programs, because usually they're treated as separate, yet it's a core thing that's lacking in retaining more people who aren't white men in the tech industry.
Awesome. Zen, do you want to go again?
Oh, sure. So I founded a company called Rallyworks around the space of hiring and growing startups. So we help folks hire like technical folks and also help them build out their companies, mostly working with early to mid-stage organizations and specifically around tech.
Oh, so what was the last word?
Tech. So
tech.
Like tech, yeah, tech roles.
Cool. We need to connect after this.
Okay.
And then Anne?
Hi. So I am also in Seattle. I am an independent consultant. I spent almost 20 years working at Procter & Gamble and Starbucks in the past couple of years, and doing brand management and sort of innovation. And I've spent a lot of time in the emerging food and wellness space. Somebody invited me to join, so I'm happy to be here and learn.
Awesome. Well, do you want to start with the Ask Give, or is this your first time?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Cindy, do you want to start with the Ask Give since you've been here before?
Wow, I didn't really prepare. So as far as asks, right now I am going through a coaching certification class, and it's really changing the way I'm looking at my business and how I do my work. And it's a lot about asking much better questions. And in order to get certification, I have to practice. So if anybody wants 30-minute coaching sessions, they recommend we do a series of at least 5. I'll do a sliding scale, not charge the full going rate of coaching, but I'd love some help with getting that practice in. Cool. Any issue, doesn't have to be related to the harassment of my business.
Throw your email address in the chat.
Okay, perfect. I will. And my give is that I have 25 years of tech experience at software development, implementation. I've worked at Microsoft most of my career. And I understand bias and harassment, especially how it's different in tech. So if anybody needs expertise in how that shows up differently in a tech environment, or even just anything about racial equity right now, I'm finding that as a white woman, also with tribal ancestry, that I know more than most white people about this. I cannot substitute for the experiences of people, the lived experiences of people who are Black, Indigenous, or other people of color. But I do have a way of relating to how it affects white people. So I can help people with that aspect of your business. So that's my give.
Perfect. B, do you want to go?
Yes, I have an ask. I'll put the link in here. We have a collective crowdfunding campaign just launched, and we are looking for sponsors. And in their sponsorship is also what we offer, because many companies have joined the Stop Hate for Profit, stop paying ads on Facebook and Instagram, and trying to defund those moguls. And so there's budget to get exposure. So we're looking for sponsorships, and we will make you look so good as a company who is promoting equal access for everybody. Cool. The collective campaign, which is called the Radical Generosity Campaign, is the bucket campaign, if you wish, from where we launch individual campaigns of people getting a linkers. 128 linkers have been, campaigns have been completed in the last year, which is 128 people that could never afford a linker. And
That's
with
awesome.
the first collective, with the first collective campaign, we raised $48,000 for sponsors. And so we're looking for other sponsors who want to, with every $1,000, we can start one campaign and get people going. So, and I don't have anything like sponsor packages and stuff. If you're part of this and you want to have exposure, we're going to make you look very good. We've got about 25,000 people directly on our channels through newsletters and whatever. So there you go. And
Awesome.
Please share the campaign. That's the ask. Please share it.
Share it. Okay, perfect.
Or donate, whatever you want.
Awesome. Zen?
I actually wasn't prepared for an ask give. So I think the ask is back to kind of one of my C's, right? Connection. If there's somebody that you know of that are going through, say, hiring, succession planning, HR, things to think about, like how do I find these types of people? What is my strategy? Should I hire from abroad? Why? How do you build out that next group of leaders in your company? What do we hire for? How do you even think about recruiting? Come talk to me. And I guess that's my give as well. Because the ask is great. If we can work together and make some money, that would be awesome. But I do know that there's a lot of organizations that go through that cycle nonetheless. And so if there's ways that I can give my time and just talk through some things, great. So I suppose it's both an ask and a give.
Cool. Throw your email in the chat so we can connect. I have a podcast, so if you like, I've got some events coming up that maybe I can interview you for that. That'd be cool.
Sure.
And then Anne, I'm going to go and then have you go so you can kind of feel how that is. I'm Leah, I have Her Story of Success. My rebrand is launching next Wednesday on my birthday. Whoop, whoop. I started the podcast as a let's figure out what the hell I'm doing. And now we've turned it into a company. So I think somebody created my logo in like Microsoft Paint. And I've hired a branding company to like actually brand my company. So that's launching on August 5th. My ask is that you would sign up for my newsletter so that you can get the emails to like support us and just share it on social media, like Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you use social media, just whatever platform you use and have an audience, just share our rebrand that we're trying to make a difference in the world. I've also interviewed Vicki Saunders. So if you wanted to listen to her podcast episode and share that, that would be really, really cool. And B, I like want to interview you. So we need to end up doing that. So my give would be, I have a pretty cool platform. So I will share your a link thing that you have coming up, the campaign, and then my give is whatever you need. I'm pretty well connected to folks. So Zen, your information is actually something that I talk about. So that would be a give that I have for sure. And then Anne, what would your ask and give be?
My ask and give is like, oh my God, I need to figure out my ask. So, and I say that jokingly, but it's a little bit true. Since, and my ask and give are kind of the same, similar to Zen. But since I left like the big corporate job, I've been lucky in that I've had friends who've hired me. And I'm kind of like running down on my list of friends and I'm kind of like, okay, what am I really doing? Like I kind of need to really figure that out. So Cindy, I might be a good candidate for your coaching practice. But what I do, like I know what I do really well, and that like I'm a super good critical thinker and I can like take complex stuff and like sort it out, but I'm like terrified to do it with myself, right? So that's like, if somebody came to me with what my ask is, I'd be like, let me do this for you. But I'm like, I can't do it. So Hey, somebody, I've got a draft of my website. I'm thinking of this product. I don't know how to launch here. Like, I'm good to like give feedback. And, you know, happy to use that skill, especially for good, like in a program like this. So that's me.
Awesome. We have a few more minutes. I rushed us through because I thought we only had like 5 minutes. So let's talk about an ask and give for SheEO since we're all on this call. I would say, like, Jessie, since we have you, what's one thing that as SheEO as an organization, what's your ask and give for us? I'll put you on the spot.
Ask would be to spread the message of radical generosity. So since COVID hit, and you are a guest on this in this group, we've been hosting these calls every week since mid-March. So we're now on our 20th week of consecutive calls, and it's been a really amazing opportunity to connect every week with activators from across the global network. We hear from a venture, we check in, and we do ask give, and then also, as Nalini mentioned at the beginning of the call, we sometimes talk about systems change, how we use our money to create the kind of world we want to live in was a conversation yesterday, and have these really critical discussions, especially at this moment in time in history. And so the community and the support has been really incredible. So my ask would be to tell your friends about it. Like, I love what Leah shared. She talks about SheEO 5 times a week. Bring more women into this network so that we can continue to create this change that we really need. And the give is any support we can offer, connections. This network is really incredible. So if you have something specific, would love to support however I can. And then also, you know, some of the ones that you shared, Cindy, your coaching ask, I think, is really unique to both help you, but also help someone else at a really reduced rate. Would love to encourage you to share it on the SheEO Ask Give platform too. And on the next week's calls, we'll be directing more people, reminding them about the resource as a tool as well. Thanks, Leah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as the guest, do you have any questions for us?
You know, so a friend of mine is active, and so I've heard about the program enough, you know, through her, the organization. So I don't think so. I'm sure
is she an activator in the US?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, we've got a few more minutes, so let's talk about something awesome. I just feel like there's so much crazy negativity, so I would love a win from each of you. And the only reason I want to start with B is because, right, she is my favorite, and I love a linker and what she does. It's okay to say that. I don't know any of you, but I've been a fangirl of B's since I met her, and was just so impressed with her story and how she's done what she's done. So B, what's the best win for a linker that you've seen, whatever time frame? Could be a week, could be a month, could be this quarantine season. What you got?
Oh my God. Which level?
Any.
There's so many wins, seriously.
Yay!
Since and I'll say a little bit about that, so you get a little preview of what I'm going to say at the end. But God, where do I start? I sort of nudged my way into SheEO. You have to make revenue $50,000. You can't say this out loud, but I only had a crowdfunding campaign, of pre-sales crowdfunding campaign. So yes, that was revenue, and it was a complete fluke, of course, because that's not revenue through a normal channel. Coming from a very bad space, from the world where it's very hard to be a woman and trying to do something technical, into now, what is it, 4 years later, we just crossed the $3 million revenue mark. That's just in money, and it gives a little bit. I mean, that's probably the big thing is reframing language and being very vigilant with how we use words. And one thing that's always bugged me is, like, we're either for-profit or non-for-profit or a charity, and that's all tied strings to government requirements and stuff. And I've been 10 years in international work in Afghanistan, Sudan, Ethiopia, and all those countries, and the donor requirements that comes with the strings attached and the hidden agendas are just not funny. But non-for-profit and for-profit makes you either gauging money over the back of disabled people, how people see it, or non-for-profit, and then apparently there's no profit because we only measure in money. So I recently reframed who we are as a company.
Entering into the natural resources sector. Very happy to connect with you and see what we can do. And in terms of an ask, I'm struggling with this one a little bit. And I guess it's really about, wanting to understand more about, I have an interest in becoming an activator and just, like, what do I need to be thinking about there? How do I make that decision? Are there sort of timing considerations or, just thinking about that. So that's where I'm at.
I'm on mute, sorry. I said you guys are doing great on time, and that's lovely. Heather, thank you. It's good to hear that. Thanks. All right, and who do you want to hand it off to, Heather? Jessica or?
I muted myself. On the screen, Jessica's next door to me. On my screen anyway, so why don't I throw it to you?
Thanks, Heather. So as for a give, I have experience in economic data research and analysis. So if anyone is, in the process of exploring, exploring local trends or geographic trends, you can let me know, and I'll be more than happy to, either direct you or point you to the right data, or, maybe even help you with the analysis as well, because I know, preliminary analysis is sort of key when starting any kind of business. So, and after I left my job, I actually worked on Fiverr, and I've taken on some market research projects, and it was a lot of fun actually. And I stopped because it was taking way too much time. But I really enjoy performing market research and data analysis. So if anyone has questions, feel free to let me know, and I can I can provide my email address in the chat. I don't know how to do it on my phone, but I'll do it. And as for a give, as for my ask, so this is interesting. So I've started a new project. I'm trying to turn my house into a co-op, and I'm trying to figure out like the legal implications of doing so. So, if anyone knows of a co-op lawyer or, can provide any, legal advice, let me know. Yeah,
Great.
because there are a few organizations I am tapping, but yeah, that's my ask.
Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah.
We're gonna go in 30 seconds. So sorry, Amy, I gotta move to you real quick.
That's all right. So my give is to be able to jump onto a call with any of you and help you work through or talk about any of the things that you're kind of going through. To Jessica, I may actually have some connections with people who are doing co-op homes. So let me double check with my mentor and make sure I have the name right, and then I can pass that along to you.
Great, thank you.
And then
Hello, did your group end early?
We were just like summing it up when we got the 60-second.
Perfect.
So we were just like saying our goodbyes, so we figured just come back to the main room.
A testament to your facilitation, Judy. Thank you.
It's always nice to say goodbye before you get kicked out awkwardly mid-sentence. So we had a good wrap up, and now we're here. It was a natural point to end it versus like.
Which I would definitely say is the most common experience on these calls.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful. So we have 15 more seconds, and then we'll see everyone back here. And then looking forward to your 3-word summaries for those who were able to do that in time. Alrighty, I think Nalini, everyone's back. So passing it back to you.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you guys for participating. And so now what we would like to do is to hear from each of the groups. So let's hear from group 1, Lisa Tepper.
Hi, we're going to hear from Elizabeth, our guest too. Elizabeth, would you like to share your experience?
I would love to. Our 3 words were connections, resilience, and courage.
Great words. Thank you. Group 2, Rachel.
Well, we didn't get to our words, but I would say it was curious and motivated and strength.
Thank you. Next is group 3, Judy.
Yeah, Gail's going to report out for us.
Okay. Our 3 words are synergy, collaboration, and inspiring.
Thank you. Group 4, Leah.
I would say ours is breaking old systems, breaking, creating, and communities.
And fantastic words all the way around. And for my group, we have Leanne.
We had a couple, so beginnings, because a lot of us were going into new areas, regeneration, and reinvention also.
Fantastic. Jesse, thank you for recording these into the chat. So I welcome everyone to take a moment and take in the energy from all these great words and great experiences of all the breakouts. So now we have a special guest, B. I'm trying to see if I can find you here. B, I will turn it to you to talk to us about activating.
Hi everyone, my name is B. I'm a venture in the 2nd cohort in Canada. So 4 years ago, I'm also an activator because I just love the concept that there's no conflict of interest between being a venture and being an activator, and that those rules don't exist in SheEO. Quite literally, SheEO has changed my life. I found myself in a world, as most of us do, where you cannot dream, where if you do not have one focus, you're called all over the place and crazy. You're being called crazy anyway, because you try to do something else than making money. You're also not willing to identify one problem that you're now going to fix. And all those things made me run into walls. And I was in a little back room with the windows closed and on antidepressants and a lot of alcohol. And somewhere in myself, I thought, there is something bigger than me, because I had seen what happens when people got on the Alinker. So I'm the inventor of the Alinker, a 3-wheeled walking bike that is designed not as a technical solution for a body with a problem, because we're not a body with a problem. We're people that want to live a full and active life. So I designed it for how we want to live, regardless of mobility challenges that you might have or not. The day that Vicki told me that I had become one of the 5 ventures in that 2nd cohort was actually my birthday, and it literally changed my life. And I think it saved my life. I would not be here if it wasn't for SheEO, and that's not exaggerated. And definitely the Alinker wouldn't be here if it wasn't for SheEO, because all of a sudden I found myself surrounded by women who said, like, we selected you, we believe in you, we like that you're all over the place because you just follow your energy. And I got language for what I was actually doing, following the energy, being in the dreaming, just going on your guts is normal between people that get that. And the mainstream world of guys in a boardroom who you're asking for money or for an investment because you're desperate for money, then say, you need to suffer a little bit harder because the risk for us is a little bit too high. So coming from that, being in SheEO made everything possible. And since 4 years ago, I was at just $50,000, just over $50,000 revenue through a crowdfunding campaign. I got selected, and this year we just, at the end of July, today, we just surpassed the $3 million revenue.
Wow.
And the money is only a indication of that people want it, that it's successful. But we do live in a system where people are driven into poverty by the sicker system. Once you've got a diagnosis for MS or an accident or a stroke or something, we've got a whole integrated platform where people can do their crowdfunding campaigns. So we have now completed 128 campaigns of people that could never afford a linker and have, through the collective sharing and radical generosity of people showing up for strangers, 128 people on linkers having their agency and independence back. The collective campaign that I've just shared, I'm looking for sponsors. SheEO is not something that you just give $1,100 to. It's not you as an activator, you become part of a network. The moment you're part of SheEO, it changes your life. It comes into your DNA. You change because the giving and receiving that's happening around us changes you as a human being that is in reciprocity with others. In a network, we're not an individual more important than the community than the well-being of the community. We are all here because the well-being of the community actually makes us better people. So I would urge everybody to activate and just step in, because you'll never regret it. I became an activator on my line of credit. Was not possible. I was in deep debt, and I was like, line of credit is very forgiving, and it's just a matter of putting your priorities there. It's not about the money, it's about everything, how it will change your life, and how you help companies like mine change lives in a ripple effect through. There is a way to activate, to pay every month for the activation if it's difficult to pay the $1,100 all at once. Just activate, jump in, and become part of this incredible movement. I call it. I don't call it a network, because it sort of assumes that there's networking, and I feel it more as in we're in resonance with each other, and then it regenerates power and new ways of being together, new old ways of being together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, B. I need to fold my hands before that. That was beautiful. Thank you very, very much. I share your experience of SheEO, so thank you. And what an amazing, amazing feat that you have accomplished and continue to accomplish. Thank you. So as we get ready to wrap up, two things. One is, as you can see, this is a really magical experience, magical community. So we welcome you to share your experience of SheEO magic using the hashtag SheEO magic on social. Two is, we would love for you to share with us your feedback, and Jesse will post the feedback form right over there into the chat, because we want to make sure that we're serving all of you, whether they're activators, ventures, guests, and we'd love for you to come back and join us. And with that, thank you so much. Thank you to Jesse. Thank you to Vicki for speaking to us. Thank you to the activators, the ventures, and thank you to the guests who came to join us. See you next time. And
we're going to take a group photo before.
Sorry, my bad. Group photo before we go. Group photo.
No worries. And if those who are, oh, perfect, just saw Nadine turn on her video, a few others. If anyone else would like to turn on their video so we can take this photo together to celebrate the experience we had. Lovely to see some of your faces. Okay, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Are you going to throw your hands up in the air? We'd love to see a little bit of motion. 1, 2, 3. And then we have a second screen of radically generous women. So if you can put your hands back up, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. We'd love to invite you to join our community. I'll send a follow-up email with the links and more information. And we're so grateful for your time today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.